Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we've got a bit of a situation. We've got the Suisui Combat Showcase, and this is what I've also heard as well. Guys, it's apparently one of the least popular ones that we've had in the game's history, because that doesn't really look like a lot of likes within 17 hours. And bro, I actually almost forgot that this one existed. You're gonna notice in my kit showcase video that was released either before or after this, I forgot that Suisui's Combat Showcase was even there. So maybe the hype is simply not that real for the character, or maybe this is something that has just flown under the radar. Because I think it's fair to say that Meng Zhou in 3.5, it got off to kind of like a big start with like the story and everything like that, but it's kind of simmered out because there's not too much to look forward to in the second half, other than like End State Matrix or maybe like Virtual Crisis or something like that. I think the reality is, we're kind of in a bit of a downtime, but maybe this is enough to bring us back. Let's go ahead, let's see what this one's all about, and give our thoughts on the Suisui Combat Showcase. All right. Okay, we see her doing some makeup and stuff. All right.
The clouds hang heavy with coming rain.
This is what I'll say. It's definitely not as exciting as the Yangyang one. Yeah, it's definitely not as exciting as maybe any of the combat showcases we've had in the past, because she's kind of just doing a whole lot of nothing.
And mist rises slowly from the water.
Wait, that was her intro was like she was putting on makeup and sending letters, and then that is the segue for this. So to really put into paper exactly what I'm talking about over here, I've got to show you some past other combat showcases, right? And well, when you take a look at some of the other combat showcases that this game has had, you'll be like, wait a second. I see what Sate is... I am picking up what Sate is putting down. This was Yangyang's. So that's her 2D animation. That was the cut. That was the cut. And like, bro, her sister is like, I guess, do you kind of like, do you see what I mean? This one's a little boring. I'm gonna be honest. Did they spend all the budget on the Yangyang one and they were just like, yeah, have her do like something. What? I'm not super sure, but just have her do like something. Like, what is she doing?
The clouds hang heavy with coming rain, and mist rises.
What? So, I think at a baseline, I do feel a bit disappointed because I personally thought that Kuro was reaching like a new level, right? Of like animation, fidelity, quality, storyboarding and stuff in these like showcases. And then we kind of just, it feels like we took a gigantic step back. Is that fair to say? To me, it just sort of feels like we took a step back that I don't like as much, because Yangyang Showcase was just such a breath of fresh air and like so like high quality in comparison. At least in my opinion. Oh, we got a raid. Appreciate it, Greedy.
Just slowly from the water. Homeward clouds, moonlit shoals.
They went right on into it. Yeah, no, they went right on into it, bro. And I think this is kind of like the main thing. When Suisui has already had her kit shown, right? Since, like, fucking during the Cyberpunk collaboration, where we had good old, what's their name? The guy from Street Fighter or Tekken, I fucking forget. He leaked these kits. Guys, we've seen Suisui for a very long time. And so I guess to me, we needed something a little bit extra flair to make up for the fact that this unit, we've already seen all of these animations from Harada over like close to 2 months ago.
Rippling splendor awakens.
Did they follow through?
Ripples dance bright.
Oh, I guess they're doing some neat camera work. What about the tacit mark? Hey, not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Okay. I think they made up for a little bit of it over here. Okay. Is this enough to make up for the lack of hype pretty much anywhere else? Dumpling.
That's right.
Dumpling going sicko mode. I don't know. This is pretty cool. That's pretty cinema. You know what? That is pretty cinema. That might be one of the best marks. That is definitely one of the best tacit marks in the history of the game. But this is the thing. I don't think a lot of people made it here. Yeah, I think this is the part that obviously I think we're starting to see play out. They kind of messed up the release of 3.5. Now that I'm seeing all of this put together, now that I'm seeing the views, now that I'm seeing the hype, I'm beginning to realize 3.5, the Harada leaks, was one of the worst decisions that I feel like Kuro could have made. Because these kits, this stuff that they have ready, it doesn't match the damage of revealing characters so early. Do you guys get what I mean? Do you guys get what's like going on? I'm personally of the opinion that like Kuro kind of blew their load way earlier than they should have this patch. And like the end result is that it feels like now that we're actually in the patch, these characters didn't necessarily deserve this level of hype in their pre-release. And now that they're in the actual pre-release, right, there's like not really any hype anymore. And that's what I feel like when I see viewership like this. And this is what I think it's going to extend into. I think this is going to extend potentially into other materials, right? Look at the story cinematics, 18K views, right, for some of the Yangyang stuff. And then, like this showcase, I feel like it's not really going to be that popular either. Yes, it will have a lot of views because there's going to be, right, ads run out playing this video before other videos for other games, right? But it feels like there's not really going to be a lot of organic engagement with this update, which I think is like kind of the vibe that people are getting. A little bit overhyped. And this is also the other thing. I think it's also fair to say people like Suisui in general more than Yangyang. But it seems like the views and the engagement is just kind of like going down at a much faster pace. And this is what I hope, right? I think a lot of people can tell that there's been and I mentioned this at the start for a reason. There's been a slight just like lack of engagement overall with this update. Now that we've especially been approaching the second half and stuff like that. So I'm just really hoping Kuro can take some learning lessons from the under-delivering that I feel like 3.5 has had as they push towards 3.6, 3.7, Scene, the Sentinel release, and all of that. And we kind of like get stuff back in order. Because Mengzhou, to me, has been one of like the most mixed bags that I feel like we've had in the history of the game. Where like visually, there's so much like amazing stuff. But it's like, I kind of don't care enough about Mengzhou to like really dive deep into it. I am left feeling not nearly as engaged with like the world and all the stuff going on after this 3.5 quest compared to 2.4 or compared to 2.0. And that's just personally what I feel like. It's like there's something not as interesting after completing this 3.5 quest that like that I felt in Septimot, or that I felt in Renacida or Raguna, or that I even felt in Jinzhou. To me, I kind of just want to wait until the next update to see anything else going on over here, because like I cared so little about what happened in like the main story. Maybe that's not just me. Maybe that's why everyone is seeing, or the entire Wuthering Waves page and all Wuthering Waves content is seeing a bit of a downtrend right now. Maybe there's more people feeling like this than I am. But as far as I can tell, this is going to be the sign of a bit of middling for the future of Wuwa. And I can safely say, when it comes to 3.5, Mengzhou, the initial release, and of course, those leaks from Harada, right? I think this actually did more damage than it did good. And I think that this is maybe a good opportunity for Kuro Games to get a little bit humbled, right? On like the character release, like this sort of stuff. Because they can't just like, you know, do this and then expect the patch to be successful. They can't just do this and expect the characters to sell. They actually got to design units that people actually want to pull. And Yangyang, unfortunately, is not one of those. Because I low-key think, with Suisui being your best teammate, all of that stuff, right? It low-key feels like she tanked the whole patch. And this is just another unfortunate casualty of the whole situation. Let me know what you all thought. Or wait, let's go finish this up now. I forgot there's still more. I was like so uninterested in what's left, but like maybe there's more.
Mirrored by water.
Like, y'all forgot there was more in this trailer, didn't you? Because you already seen this shit before. You already know everything she does. You don't even care to see this because you already saw this already.
Tinted in blue.
All right, now it's a little bit of a showcase.
What a evening to have you all here, esteemed guests. I am Suisui, your host for the Wanchuan exhibition. Thank you for placing your trust in the Xiaoming Commerce Guild.
Bro, even her showcase seems boring. I'm gonna be honest here. This is the most uninteresting one yet.
Items on display are rare finds or clever works. Those who stand here are already one step ahead.
Okay, so she's gonna. This is basically gonna be the Zani showcase version 2, where like Zani had like robbers trying to rob the Montellis, and then she caught them. And I feel like Suisui has robbers trying to rob the Xiaoming Commerce Bill, and she could have caught them. I don't know. There's something about this where I'm just not as I don't call it boring. It's just not that great. Just shut the fuck up if that's the only comment you're gonna make. Oh my gosh, boring's too mean of a word to use. Just shut the fuck up. I don't care. Bitch. That's gonna be it for this situation, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel like it's just an honest time for us, especially knowing how rough the gacha space is. We've got to keep Kuro Games on their toes as well, because I feel like at some times, Kuro just be taking the dog shit performances of their competitors for granted. Bro, AKE being stupid, having the dumbest devs in gacha history, Kuro Games, that doesn't give you a pass to just sort of like give us a literal drop in quality, right? That we can like sort of see in a lot of different places. Truly. And like Silver Palace suiciding its gacha also shouldn't give us a patch. And like NTE launching with like no activities to actually do, so nobody wants to play the game. Like guys, we're taking all this shit for granted because all these games are making such horrible decisions. And that is like what is leading to less competition and less pressure for Kuro to actually execute on certain things. I am upset. Because like half of me is thinking Yangyang wouldn't be getting pushed nearly as much if all these games didn't suck ass. Because they'd be like, damn, we actually have to make a character people want to pull. This is not fucking one of those. Save Wuthering Waves. Peace out.